Why, hello there. I didn't see you come in to my tent. I'm feeling pretty good right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. Cause I was browsing YouTube, and this thing came up of Robot Carnival, 1987, classic Japanese sci-fi OVA film, and I'm like, I've heard about this. Always wanted to see it. Hit me with this. And, sometimes a movie will have like a little bit of something directed by, produced by, with a backdrop of a reflecting river, Heck, one of them literally opens up, as I was going to explain, a reflecting river that slowly pans up into reflecting city lights and then into a clear view of the city from a distance. Yeah, one of them opens that way. But anyway, yeah, films, see, even one of the films in this freaking collage of films does that. Robot Carnival says there's a 5-minute animatic that is the title. 5-minute animated insanity for the title presentation of this film. And I'm going to describe it to you. And we're going to crack this one. We're going to start with this one over here, the 211. Okay. So the second it starts, the first 2 seconds, I see this poster stuck to a rock, blowing in the wind, arid desert. You can just see it says, coming soon, robot, and then just the top letters of another word you can't make out. It billows and blows across the lands and wraps around the legs of a village boy gathering water from the bottom of a well as he has come to water his flocks for the day. And he looks at the poster and he wigs out. And here's the interesting thing about Robot Carnival is that there's no voice acting. There's no dialogue. Nobody talks. It's music, sound effects, and visuals. There's no dialogue. Nobody talks. There's no subtitles. Everything is inferred through the visual aspect of what is happening alone. There's no need for voices. It would ruin it if it had voiceover. The kid is just telling everyone, this crazy thing's coming. We're all gonna die. You can infer that from the way everyone starts running into their houses and boarding everything up. And then over the horizon, you see this machinery. At first, you kind of maybe will think of like the sand crawler thing that the little dudes in Star Wars in the desert. What is that thing called again? I don't remember what it's called. The good sand people, not the ones that with the rifles. Those are the bad sand people. The Jawas. I think it's Jawas. It shouldn't have taken me that long to think of that. But very clearly, it's just like, this is like an ancient Arabic landscape, wood and stone huts. What I'm saying? No electricity, nothing like that. Middle Eastern Amish neighborhood. And then this massive hunk of machinery towering over the horizon approaches. And it's the front of this thing that is, like 20 times the size of their entire village, just in the front face of the machine. Robot Carnival is made of metal and emblazoned across this horrendous beast that is just plowing over their houses. This thing weighs as much as every elephant and whale in the world combined into one monolithic mechanized monstrosity on tank treads that are like taller than skyscrapers. This thing is just absurdly huge. And it's just like, shoot out all the fireworks, let the fanfare and all the big band start playing. And then all the little ballerina clockwork dancers start descending with their dresses like parachutes to hug the locals and then blow them up. And it's like, oh, there's going to be Japanese cultural symbology in this. Oh, I get where we're going with this. I'm in it. Let's hear it. You know? And like that was the title sequence. It was 5 minutes of just like the military war machine dominating any trace forms of ancient cultural heritage, playing music and dancing while they destroy everything. It was like, oh, we're in for it. Let's go. I paused it and was like, I'm not high enough for this yet. So I went and drank some weed lemonade and hit the plug and play a couple times. I was like, all right, let's go. Let's go with it. The first one that comes up, I'm not going to go through the whole movie. I've only watched half of it because I felt my brain melting because I could tell how many drugs were used to make this movie. And, you know, it's the Animatrix. It's 21 short films about Springfield. It's a bunch of different stories, a bunch of little animatics that are, you know, directed by different people. There's different animation directors for each one of these things. And, you know, they look pretty disparagingly different from one another. And the first one was Franken's Gears or something. It's like a Dr. Frankenstein story. And, you know, you get this slow pan shot of this robot dancing across the city on top of the buildings, fighting down all the planes in the sky. And a crazy professor dude has like a whole globe on his back, like a crazy hermit turtle man. Freaking. And, you know, he's just like, the lightning storm has come. Now I can channel the raw power of nature into my machine. And the mechanical design of all the different machines and the electrical generators and the wires and the servo mechanical gears and the steam engines and all that. Oh man, it's so brilliant. Oh my god, I had to rewatch it twice and rewind a couple parts and just like look at these 4 or 5 moments of just the most beautiful mechanical animation I've like ever seen. It was a feast for my eyes like I've never beheld. I love mechanical design in Japanese anime, and this is like the primo stuff right here, man. And the whole thing is basically, you know, like I gotta start my machine, and you know he's like trying to manually turn the generator to rotate it faster, and everything on it starts breaking apart, and all of the, you know, wheels and valves that he's trying to use to like, oh, I'm gonna finally get this thing started, it has to work now. And in his desperate frustration, he's like breaking apart his lab, and then he crumples on the ground thinking that he failed, and then the machine finally comes to life. And the like 3.5 minute just visual barf of this robot covered in so many wires and tubes just like slowly rising up off of its creation bed, and every, you know, all the stuff is from the ceiling is falling down, the entire laboratory is breaking apart the entire time, it's just slowly coming to life, and all the electricity sparking out from its joints and glowing out from inside of it, and freaking you know, that's amazing. That's one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And then, you know, the professor, you know, he's like looking at it like this, and you see the robot's perspective. He's looking at the human, and he just like clasps his hand like this, and then you see the robot look at his own hand and realize that he has control over his own hand and digits as well. And then, you know, then the professor's like raising his arms out like he wants to hug the robot, and the robot starts like raising its arms all the way out, the back sides of its hands smashing machinery and gauges and dials and glass wood flying everywhere, freaking wires getting broken in half and sparks soaring as it's just like raising its arms out to like mimic a hug. And then the professor, is just like so overcome with, I finally built the robot to take over the world. And then, the robot like kind of crushes him and kills him, and then it ends. And it's like, oh, okay. Welcome to Robot Carnival, MFer. The second one was Starlight Angel, which I was really into. And thus far, I think it's my favorite so far out of what I've seen. I've only watched half of it because I want to preserve my brain. But Franken's Gears, that was a lot of marijuana. There was a lot of cannabis smoked to make that, I assure you. So much articulation and attention to detail that, yeah, cannabis definitely for Franken's Gear. And then Starlight Angel, that one, LSD, straight up LSD, definitely inspired that one. So Starlight Angel is like two female friends just going out for a fun time at a Japanese theme park, and one of the friends is into roller coasters a bit more than the other, and she takes her friend on like a really scary roller coaster, and then she's like not enjoying herself. So they're sitting at a park bench trying to decide what to do next as her friend calms down, because that roller coaster was a little too scary for me. I love roller coasters, by the way. Ghost Rider at Knott's Berry Farm is like my favorite roller coaster, because that thing gives you a concussion. That thing breaks your skull against the back plates. That thing beats you up to ride it, and it shows no mercy, so it's my favorite. Anyway, they run past this robot Barker at like a bar in the theme park, and this robot dude is like smitten by how beautiful this sad girl is, and then her little star pendant necklace falls off her neck. And then the robot dude is like, I must find this girl, and I must give her the star pendant back that she dropped. Yeah. So, two friends are going around the park, and robot dude's trying to find them. And then they come out of like a robot restaurant, and then the friend who likes roller coasters, who I want. The one who's having a good time and trying to cheer up her friend. It's like, I want you to meet my new boyfriend. He's right over here. And then he turns around, and then he's like, uh-oh. I'm dating both these girls at the same time. And the one girl who's having a bad time already, she's done. She's like, no, you're the one who gave me that star pendant necklace that I love so much. How dare you date me and my friend at the same time? And she runs away, crying. And then she gets on this like really scary roller coaster, just because I don't know, why not? It's like these creepy, nasty robot skeleton hands like pick her up and put her on the roller coaster, even though she's like scared of them. So it's like, why would you get on the scariest one? But that becomes the least of your concerns when the roller coaster starts like taking off and going literally neon pink, Blood Dragon 1980s aesthetic, light speed, hyper, Destiny warp drive. And then for some completely unexplained, inexplicable reason, she is now like astral planing and out of her own body, and she is now just flying above the theme park. Her troubles are down there. I don't want to be near them right now. And then in a moment of true self-actualization, it occurs to her that I can just magical schoolgirl wink my own robot friends into existence as I'm flying above the robot theme park. And then it zooms in on her face, and she's like doing like chew, like magical girl winks or whatever. And then all her robot friends are like Superman flying through this. I swear I'm not making this up. You can watch it yourself. All her magical robot friends are flying through the sky with her. And then the one robot dude, for some reason, this robot is now astral planing too in her like psyche. Again, LSD. Um, and he like tries to give her back the star pendant, and she's like, "No, that cheating two-timer is the one who tried to give that to me." And then the entire existence that the two of them are in, like turns into like Gygus from Earthbound, like the final screen of like Gygus, like a trans-dimensional, multi-dimensional entity of just hate and pain, malice and anger. And that's just what the background is now, shifting, and all these weird patterns with the faint hints of something sinister staring back at you from the darkness. And then the space zombie Dracula unicorn Gundam mecha Satan thing like just births itself into this reality of despair in this astral plane. It looks like seriously, like zombie mecha Unicron. You ever seen the old Transformers movie? It looks like zombie Dracula Satan Unicron, dude. Like guts and everything behind like the mechanized skeletal breastplate and everything. You can see the brain on top of it, but it's still like all this creepy demon mecha armor over all this flesh held together by hatred. It's just like, so that looks dope, right? I saw that and I'm just like, that's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I'm not gonna lie. These full screen, beautifully animated sequences, like just wow. Honestly, the amount of effort that went into it, and they didn't cut corners. It's incredibly detailed. But also, why is robot dude and this girl fighting it in trans-dimensional space? I don't know. Because the dude who made this did a lot of LSD, and that beer is hitting me because I chugged it. But then, he like tries to save the girl, and they're like flying away, and then he like protects her from the zombies like breath beam, Yamato cannon breath beam thing, and then his helmet falls off, and I guess in this world of make-believe and drugs, he's now like Pinocchio'd himself a human head onto his robot body, and the girl's like freaked out by it, so she like pushes him away, and then evil space Dracula Unicron zombie Satan, he grabs the girl and like punches the F out of the other dude, and he like falls all the way to the ground. For some reason, there's a ground in this gravity up-down list, topsy-turvy, inverse reality. There is suddenly gravity, and there's ground now. I don't know why. LSD, that's why. And at the feet of this thing, there's the Starlight pendant, and robot dude, who now has a human head, he goes and grabs it, and in his hand, the light starts breaking out through his fingers, and it looks dope. The animation is so beautiful as the light is like breaking out through between all of his fingers. And then it turns into a giant like sword made out of pure light, and he like freaking, Superman jumps all the way to the top of this thing and jams it straight into its left eye, and then it's reeling, and then he goes and grabs the girl, and then they start floating away together as the Space Dracula zombie Unicron Gundam Satan robot just explodes in an array of white and red lightning. And then she's back in the human world. She's not on her astral plane journey anymore. And then her friend is looking at a really cool watch. You need to watch this yourself. Like, seriously, the watch on that chick's wrist, that's a dope wristwatch design, and I love the way they were thinking with that. It's like 11:30 at night. All the rides are closed. We got to leave the park. And then she catches up with her friend again after her weird journey with a robot saving her again from the space Unicron devil. And as they're leaving, she's like, "Oh, I want you to meet my new boyfriend." And now the robot dude is a full-on actual human, and now she can, like, you know, have have a human boyfriend because he Pinocchioed himself into being a human. The end. Starlight Princess. Cloud. Let me honestly summarize Cloud for you. Life is beautiful. Hiroshima sucks. Carry on. That was Cloud. Honestly, I actually found it a little pretentious. It was interesting, but I actually thought it was pretty pretentious. It's still an important message. If you're Japanese, it'll resonate a lot more with you, but I think there were honestly better ways to represent that, if I'm being completely honest. So that's Cloud. Moving on. Oh man, I'm drunk. What was the last? It was some type of Deprive. It was called Deprive. Okay, so Deprive is like, oh, the future's awesome. Humans and robots have relationships with each other, which is weird, by the way, but it's not. Maybe it's not too far off. You see what AI is doing these days. But there's like these super funny looking, doofy red robots that are like riding these flying jeeps that are way too small for them, and it looks like they're, like Homer Simpson when he's riding on like the world's tiniest little bicycle or whatever. That's what these robots look like in their little flying jeeps, just all like, okay, yeah, let's do it. They look so stupid and goofy, but they're like the invading aliens, and they show up on like a Lavos monster thing that crashes into the planet, and I think inspired the big, like, Eternal Pandora, whatever that stupid thing is from Final Fantasy VIII, because Final Fantasy VIII's a bad game. Pandora Tomorrow, Infinite Pandora, whatever the hell that thing was called. That giant crystal pillar monolith thing stuck on the earth. I think it was actually inspired by the Deprive episode in Robot Carnival. Because, like, the meteor crash site is this incredibly awesome looking crystalline structure that just, I don't know, man, it looks really crazy how huge it is. But like all the space robot Nazi guys are like taking over societies, and they crash in on this one human trying to give a bracelet to her robot boyfriend in a parking garage. And they take the girl away, and they beat the dude up, and he's like, I'm gonna get back at y'all for this. So he goes in the Goku rehabilitation pod for a while, and then when he comes out, for some reason he has a human body now, and he looks just like an anime dude. And then he goes into like the main villain's lair, the invading aliens and all that. He just goes straight into their lair. He blows everything up on his way there. And there's some really dope looking like giant boss robot dudes. It's straight up, they're clearly something that someone would design for a JRPG. Like, honestly, they're pretty awesome looking, just crazy giant robots made of guns, basically. They're freaking really cool looking. Let's be honest. But human robot dude, he beats these dudes up, but he gets wrecked and then has all his human skin torn off, and he's just down to his T-1000 Terminator exoskeleton at this point. And now it's like, now I'm serious. Now it's like the Guyver, you know what I'm saying? Now I'm gonna start breaking these things apart. And straight up, there's this one robot with a really thick, long tail. He goes toward the back of it in this really sick, detailed scene where he's just like grabbing onto all these cables and wires between the flexible joints of this thing's tail, and he just like whips it straight up into the air and crashes it down. I saw that and I'm like, no, Metal Gear Rising. Is that what you were Metal Gear Rising referenced that at the beginning when Raiden just throws the Metal Gear Ray. I absolutely swear on my life and everything that Robot Carnival and that one specific moment inspired that fight and that one part of Metal Gear Rising. You watch it and you tell me if you don't literally see frame for frickin' frame Raiden doing that. crazy robot ninja cyborg man throws giant thing by its monolithic mechanical dinosaur tail. That camera angles and everything, I swear, it's the exact same thing. It's awesome. It's freaking dope. And then, he goes to fight the evil nega. I'm sorry to have to say this, but it's Japan in the 80s. The evil gay wizard space sorcerer dude wearing drag makeup and having blue skin. And then for some reason, the robot dude, he just like rematerializes his human like flesh back on himself again. Drugs were used to make this. And then the evil space prince dude, he starts like shooting a laser out of his eye. It moves like a James Bond laser, you know what I'm saying? It moves so slow, and I'm thinking to myself, bro, if you could shoot a laser out your eye, why do you have like a lazy eye? Is that you have a complex about that? So you got a laser installed in it or something? You can't look straight at something if you have a laser eye? Because why you take so long to move your laser eye toward this dude? Like for real, like actually, seriously. And then for some inexplicable reason, he stops trying to use his cyborg laser eye, and then they just have a manly fist fight, and the robot dude freaking punches the effing balls out of the evil space drag queen prince. And there's no magical anime explosion. I mean, he just like punches him in the face so many times, gives him the left-handed Shoryuken right in the stomach, but the knuckles are punching up and behind the solar plexus in the rib cage, so that he lifts this whole dude's body up with that left uppercut, and then he just full on haymaker right straight this dude into a face, across the room, into a wall, so hard that he molecularly dematerializes and is deleted out of existence. And then he goes and he saves his human girlfriend, and then he walks out of the evil space Nazi fortress, and they go to get sushi or something. I don't know. That was the point when my brain kind of felt like it was breaking, and that if I kept watching anymore, that I would have like literal brain damage, as if I took acid myself. That was the point that I stopped. I haven't watched any more Robot Carnival just yet, but when I feel have enough mental fortitude to process how this got made and consider how many drugs were used to make it, then I will watch some more. But until then, yeah, thanks for listening. Appreciate your time. And yeah, if you just search for Robot Carnival here on YouTube, it is there. You can watch it. You can if you want to. It's really very visually beautiful, striking visually, absolutely mesmerizing, and I just love it visually, absolutely. Does it make any sense? Does it have any meaning? No. It's a bunch of drug visions. It's just, I don't know. It's an interesting way to flex your mind and consider things you wouldn't normally. I don't know. It's freaking weird. Does it have any real value? Probably not. Am I ever gonna forget it? No. It's tattooed onto the ceiling of my mind attic forever now, and it will never go away. And yeah. Appreciate y'all's time. God bless. Later.